Welcome back. Welcome to the Build Better Insect Glaive series. This one's going to talk about Kinsects. I'm going to go through every single one. I'm going to give you my absolute overview of what they do, what's optimum, what isn't optimum, and for the newer players out there, I'm going to give you some solid recommendations of what you should do, and bursts of not having to go and farm every single one of these Kinsects and build them up, especially if you just want to give the weapon a try. But we'll break it down one by one. I'll let you know my true thoughts and give you my 2 solid recommendations of what you should do. But with no further ado, we'll move straight into it. Firstly, we're going to cover Monocalucanid and the Carnage Beetle. So these two. You're looking at poison Kinsect powder on these. In my honest opinion, it is not worth it. Stay away from them for now. Poison, you may accumulate enough poison powder and break it down to accumulate 1 full poison throughout each hunt that you do. When you start to calculate the damage that that's going to do, it is not optimum. It's not worth doing. Poison is okay right now. It's not in the best possible spot, but unless you're truly building around it and going for a full poison build and putting poison duration up in there and wanting to put that off, I still don't believe, versus other choices that you've got for status, that it is something that you should be doing. So for new players out there, stay away from it. They're a good all-round Kinsect, don't get me too wrong, but they're boosting the element damage on themselves, which is not a bad thing, but element's not in the best spot right now, and stamina recovery is unnecessary for the kind of builds that we put together around Insect Glaive. It's so minimum that it's not going to increase what you need to do, so I would stay away from them. Then you've got Empress Wing and Bonnet Fillet. So these two, again, are not the quickest, so they're not that fast at getting back to you. They also offer Kinsect Powder Recover, and they have a very high boost on that recovery when you burst in them clouds due to the attack boost powder. These do come with fast charge, so the first step into being able to fire that Kinsect out quickly, but when you put that with a slow speed, it's kind of counterproductive. It's not really worth doing. But for people out there who may struggle, who may not be able to maintain the HP very well and be getting hit a lot of times while they're learning the weapon, or struggling to get adjustments to learning Monster Hunter for the first time, these wouldn't be a bad shout, because you're going to couple it with especially some of the builds that we put together, like the Immortality build, or even our builds that we're doing that are more DPS orientated, that still have a good level of recovery in there. You could bring this in there if you think I do need a little bit more of recovery, but it's not the most optimum, and as you become good at the Insect Glaive or increase your skill level as time goes on, you will start to step away from these, because they're not necessarily going to give you what your heart desires from a Kinsect, but they're not ultimately a really bad shout. Then you come into Concardamom, and we've also got Lady Pavise. So these two are your paralysis based powders. Powder effect's really strong. They've got average stats all around. They don't output too much damage. They've got a good stamina, so they can charge the stamina on your round quite quickly before they need firing out again. But the Kinsect's combo boost is element, so they're doing a bit more element damage, but again, not really worth it. I don't believe it's optimum. I don't think it's something that you should be doing or trying to do as the game's developing, because unless element goes through a fundamental change over the next 3 to 6 months, our builds are not really based around pushing element too much, because it's not optimum right now. Raw is king. That may change as we move through the title updates, and I will update you as soon as it possibly does, but throughout my testing I'm finding that it's just not as efficient as other options might be. So yeah, I would stay away from those two. And then you've got Grand Cathar and Bull Shroud, which are the speed based Kinsects. So it's starting to come into this, but you've still got the combo boost on element, so whatever element you're running, you are getting a little combo boost on that, but the extract boost is recovery with a Kinsect Powder of Recover. So again, if you're looking for a quick Kinsect that you can fire through that monster quickly and get back to you very quickly and bring that green buff back, it's boosted on this. So again, for them newer players, or maybe people who are struggling with the survivability level of this game, and if the difficulty increases of this game, these are going to become a very good choice, because you're going to be able to stack it with the Shia set, which is pushing you past the health bar, and then while you're constantly recovering there and your Kinsect's coming back to you, you are also putting out Kinsect's Powder of Recover. There is a huge amount of healing to be done here. Plus you can also be a little bit of an off healer with this in a group hunt, because you're going to be putting out the powder clouds around that if one of your allies hits, they will also be getting a little boost to their recovery as well. So it's not necessarily a bad thing if you want to be more of an off healer, still DPS kind of Kinsect player with the glaive, but to your call. But again, it falls into the not too optimum box. This may change if the difficulty scaling goes through the roof and this game becomes quite a lot more difficult. You may have to squeeze something like this into your build just to give you that extra level of survivability. And trust me, I believe it happens. I believe it does happen eventually. We're going to see what Arc Tempered Radar does, and we're going to see what kind of influence that has on the meta. But we'll go from there. And then my number 2 choice and my optimum must-have Kinsect in your arsenal, Fiddlebricks. So Fiddlebricks and Archmaiden are exactly the same. One's Severing and one's Blunt. But the choice is ultimately your own. Being a Severing based Kinsect, if you want to chop off the tails on a solo hunt or contribute towards that on a team hunt, Fiddlebricks is the one to go. But this is the first of the blast powder based Kinsects. These two are going to put little orange clouds around the monster, and you're going to be triggering them by hitting them with your weapon, or your teammate's going to be triggering them while hitting with the weapon, and that's going to do another 150 damage to that monster. But what blast also does is it causes micro flinching, which if you are to put a couple of clouds around as you're moving through an aerial combo and then you land on the ground and start a floor combo and you're hitting 2 or 3 of them clouds, the monster's going to do a small flinch, jump to the side and be a little bit animation locked in between that, and it's going to enable you to be able to output more DPS, and also factoring in the extra 150 damage that it's doing over time. It's usually around 6 to 7 times a hunt that these are getting off. But absolutely use it, and it does have harvest extract. So what these Kinsects do that other Kinsects don't do is, as you do a rising spiral slash and you cut through the body of the monster, if you're placed well enough, Fiddlebricks and Archmaiden will give you all 3 of your buffs back and enable you to go again. On the bigger monsters, you will find that this is not happening as much because it's not got the ability to pass through each body part of the monster that it needs to, but it will still bring back 2 of them, which is only allowing you to go back for the head or back for the tail in most scenarios, and to get that last buff to go again, to give yourself full stack, full earplugs, and be cooking on gas. New players, build yourself a Fiddlebricks. Don't worry about the rest. Build yourself a Fiddlebricks or an Archmaiden, because they will get you comfortable and allow you to slowly become more optimum with this weapon, while making sure that you're in a really, really good spot in terms of DPS. The stamina is fantastic. It will release off your arm very, very quickly. Its power is average, its speed is not the quickest. But in terms of being able to give you all 3 of them buffs back, which other Kinsects can't do, you're in an absolutely excellent position with this Kinsect. So if that's your pain point, so in Darkness Fight with Light, one of my number 1 followers, if that's your pain point and you're struggling to keep them extracts up, this will be the most optimum choice for you and still give you that blast DPS. So it's really, really a good choice. And then my number 1 choice, which is Pseudocath and Whispervesp. So these two are exactly the same, but Pseudocath's the Severing equivalent. I'm more of a tail cutter, with the blast flinching coming in here. But this for me is my number 1 optimum choice, especially as you've become a little bit more experienced with the Insect Glaive. It will not give you all 3 buffs back. But once you're aware of how to move around that monster and maintain DPS and keep yourself safe with one of the builds that we've put together in terms of giving you that survivability, don't worry about the recovery, it's fine. It does have fast charge, so when you're doing the staff charge, when you're firing that Kinsect through that monster's body, you will only be getting 2 buffs back, but you're going to be doing it very, very quickly. The stamina on this is quite low, but it's fine because I'm not struggling with any issues where I need this off my arm when I can't get it off my arm. But the speed is phenomenal. It's the quickest one in the game. You're going to release it off your arm, it's going to fire straight through that monster, and it's going to come back to you very, very quickly, and its power level is also very high. When you couple attack boost powder with the powder effect on Pseudocath being very, very high, what this is going to do is make sure that them blast clouds are very effective at their job. So you will be seeing a lot of the micro flinches, sometimes 7, 8 times a fight. It's going to be outputting 150 extra damage, but letting you output more damage by making sure that that monster is animation locked in the flinch animation. But there's been a lot of experimenting done with me with every single one of these Kinsects, and I find if I'm running another Kinsect that isn't Pseudocath, I will be, let's say I'm running Fiddlebricks for a little bit more comfort, that I will finish a combo, maybe on a bigger monster like a Shia for example. I will land on the ground, it won't give me all 3 extracts back, so I'm not feeling that benefit, and then I'm having to manually whistle it back to give me what extracts it does have, or I'll just jump to try and aim for the next body part to know exactly what I'm doing, to maybe I'll fire him out if I need to. I miss Pseudocath every single time because I just know he's not as quick. I want that Kinsect, I want it back. I want it to be able to get that buff and go again. If it's got recovery in there and picked up green buff, I absolutely want that green buff back, especially built into our regen sets that we've built over the past couple of weeks. But yeah, Pseudocath is my number one choice. I do a lot of playstyle as well with Whisper Vesp, just because if I'm trying to go for a blunt, I've been trying to experiment a lot with seeing if I can potentially get more stun out of it, but Pseudocath is the number one choice. If you're a new player, build yourself a Fiddlebricks, build yourself a Pseudocath, you will need no more. And that's my take on the debate. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Anything you would like to ask or anything that I've not gone over specifically, please pop into the comments below. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Huge thank you to the community so far for supporting me and giving me so much positive feedback and allowing this channel to grow on a day-to-day basis. You have my heart. I appreciate it all. I can't believe how fast we're growing. We've just hit 150 subscribers and it's mind-blowing. But yeah, anything you do need, please let me know. I will get back to every single one of you. And if you've took some value from this, please hit that subscribe button. Let's grow as the game grows, and we will always be tweaking and optimizing to the best level that we can. But anything you need, let me know. Peace.